There's no question about it. Pain and injuries suck. It's frustrating to be unable to do the things we love because of an injury, and the road to recovery often takes longer than we want it to. Part of this is because returning from an injury involves far more than muscles, bones, tendons, and ligaments. We tend to see that traditional medicine places too much focus on the body, and rarely is there an approach that encompasses its mental and emotional sides. So, before we even begin to move, improve strength, and gain mobility, we must accept the situation. We're injured and can't do what we want. Nothing will change that. We have to shift our mindset a bit into focusing on the opportunity at hand rather than the problem itself. Helping you return from injury and live a life that is untethered to pain is our mission. And the 5 C's you're about to learn will help you better understand how we're going to do just that. The first of the 5 C's is control. Focus on the things we can control, not what we can't. Our focus of control refers to our perception of who or what is responsible for what happens to us. When we focus on the things we can control, such as our strength, our range of motion, eating healthy foods, and going to bed on time, what we're doing is taking responsibility for ourselves. We're in complete control of our mindset. How willing are we to find new solutions to our problems, whether we show up to put the work in each day and our recovery and wellness habits? We have tools at our disposal that help with this, including goal setting, imagery, relaxation training, and positive self-talk. What we are not in control of is how we feel physically on any given day, outside life events, or the actions of others. Most importantly, we cannot control a medical diagnosis. We must shift away from the uncontrollables and medical diagnoses and shift to the modifiable functional diagnosis. This can be difficult. It takes time, patience, and effort. But by doing this, we create an actionable plan that will move us forward in the right direction. Ask yourself the question, what can you control? And what can you start working on today? Our second C is consistency. Consistency is everything, and without it, it's nearly impossible to create momentum on the road to success. Consistency is showing up every day, repeated exposure to exercise and training, and small investments that add up. These things are crucial, and caution should not interrupt consistency. When things hurt, it's easy for us to stop moving, avoid things that we've been told are risky, and think rest will be the solution. Being cautious feels like the smart play, but we need to keep moving or else we risk continued regression away from the goal. Progress isn't made in a day, it's made daily. Meaning, you must continue to move despite symptoms of pain or fear around what's going on. For example, if there are assessments or exercises that need to be completed, they need to be prioritized. A general rule of thumb: never miss 3 days in a row. 1 missed day is no big deal. 2 are harder to swallow. 3 are simply something that should be avoided if at all possible. However, life happens. We understand that and are willing to make the necessary changes to the plan to facilitate continued consistency. If the 60-minute session needs to turn into a 15-minute mobility segment, then so be it. It allows for consistency and the continued exposure we're looking for. Mission accomplished. We like to think of consistency as putting pennies in the piggy bank, small investments and deposits that add up over time. Once we've made enough deposits, we can begin to take some more calculated risks. We've built up a buffer of resiliency to where we can make a small bump in intensity or increase the weight on the barbell, repeat the process and do that long enough, and now we're reclaiming ground that we've lost for a long time. Time will always be the greatest indicator of recovery. Mother Nature will take care of most of the work if we let her. The longer we can stay moving, training, and breathing, the better the likelihood of seeing progress. This is why it's so important to allow for flexibility within the plan so we can deal with setbacks and flare-ups along the way. Throughout this process, there are going to be times when we must be adaptable and creative, where we have to alter the plan a bit, where we have to adjust our routines, build new habits, and think outside the box, where We may have to make subtle tweaks to the programming and modify the exercises. Recovery usually takes longer than we want, so we need to stay patient and work with what we can. What you must understand is that rest is not the solution. Rest results in deconditioning, loss of motor control and skill, and weakness that can increase the risk of further injury. Instead, we modify before we eliminate. That applies to most things, but especially with exercise. We have a million different variables at our disposal. What can be changed in order to elicit the desired response we're looking for? It's our job to create and alter the plan in such a way as to allow you to still participate in the activities that are meaningful to you. It's up to you to adhere to the plan. The more creative we are in working together, the better the likelihood of finding solutions to the most complex problems. Progress is rarely linear and setbacks are to be expected. But no matter what, we must stay committed to the plan or else risk leaving our goals unfulfilled. There will be periods of time where you don't feel as if you're progressing. You may begin questioning the process and asking whether or not it's worth the continued effort, time, and energy. These things are inevitable, but you must commit and stick to the plan no matter what. One of the key components of ensuring commitment is goal setting. We like to use the phrase, one eye on the path and one eye on the peak. We're always looking towards the end goal, but if we lose sight of the path, that goal becomes unattainable. What's the key objective? What do you really want to get out of this? What's the driving force that gets you out of bed every morning and leaves you feeling fulfilled at the end of the day? This is our compass. The more clear and vivid this outcome is, the easier it is to stay committed. Working towards the end goal will take time and oftentimes will be a bumpy road, but with continued commitment and adherence, we can push forward and see things through to the end. Are you confident in your body's ability to move, to lift, to bend and twist and run? Perhaps the most important aspect of returning from injury is having confidence. Confidence in the plan, in the body, and in the ability to bounce back effectively. Thinking about an injury will make that injury happen, and this is where building confidence comes into play. The stress associated with injury can be related to two factors: the stress of being unable to perform and the stress associated with coming back from injury. Pain and injury may result in us not being able to do what we once could. We think back to how we used to be and we compare ourselves to everyone else and begin to fill with envy and jealousy. What if I don't get back to where I was? What if I get hurt again? I can't afford to take that risk because of what happened last time. These are some of the thoughts that may be going through your mind. We know because we've been there ourselves. What makes us valuable is that we can find ways to bridge the gap back to your desired activities and goals and make sure that you're comfortable with the plan on how we're getting there. As with everything else, confidence takes time to build and it doesn't happen overnight. It's built through understanding the purpose, process, and payoff of what we'll be working on with you. It's built through a continuous process of reassessment and measuring progress compared to your baseline. It's built through action and with performance, revisiting movements and activities that have caused issues in the past. One of our guiding principles as a company is to empower the individual. We want you to feel confident in what you can do and to have certainty in the process on how to get there. As we always say, preparation over prevention. With confidence, we can truly return from pain and injury and become active for life. These 5 C's are a framework, guide, and reminder. We encourage you to revisit them on a frequent basis because of how valuable we believe they truly are. If you focus on what you can control, are creative and adaptable, are consistent in the process, are committed to the plan, and have confidence in your abilities, then the rest will take care of itself.